A parole board will soon debate the fate of Romeo Pinkerton, one of the two men convicted of a horrific East Texas crime that made national headlines. As we showed you last night, Pinkerton was sentenced to prison for killing 5 people after they were kidnapped from a Kilgore KFC.
And tonight, KETK's Trent Bennett gets a different view of this notorious case, speaking with Pinkerton behind bars. In part 2 of our special report, the KFC Massacre, Pinkerton challenges the evidence and says that he was wrongly convicted.
For newlyweds David and Lana Maxwell, their lives were just scratching the surface, and the two were tied together like a knot.
David loved me first. You know how girls chase boys all the time. David was the first one who said, "I love you." He was the first one who ever treated me like he did. He used to bring me flowers and balloons, and he would like dance when there's no music with me.
The rare type of love story that seemed too good to be true.
He was romantic and sweet, and he bared his soul about everything, and he was just different.
David was studying at Kilgore College while working part-time at the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Lana was carrying their first child.
I never heard anything but just joy come from him. If he was in any way upset about fixing to be a father, it didn't show.
But the forever the young couple was striving toward would end with a final motorcycle ride.
It was just a good day. Like, you know, you always have one of those really good days, and then something happens.
Today, a Rusk County grand jury handed down...
These guys had been there all along. They just happened to ignore them. You know, they just went on a different tangent with Mangans and just ignored them.
I definitely wouldn't want to give my life up for that much.
You have 4 people there side by side, and
people came up behind them and started blasting away.
It was our belief that Mangans was not guilty of this.
I asked God to forgive him. He gonna prove to me in the world that I've been telling the truth all the time.
More than 2 decades would pass, and 2 cousins would be convicted of the crimes. Darnell Hartsfield and Romeo Pinkerton. Now, Hartsfield denied to do an interview with our camera crew, but Pinkerton is incarcerated in the Robertson unit, this facility just over my shoulder here in Abilene, Texas. And he wanted us to hear what he had to say.
The names David Maxwell, Joey Johnson, Monty Landers.
I don't know any of them.
You don't know any of them?
Never seen them day in my life. Anytime they can get a black man to cop out to something, they satisfied.
But Assistant Texas Attorney General Lisa Tanner says what satisfies her the most is this napkin, this box.
The most clear-cut, obvious smoking gun was the DNA of Romeo Pinkerton on a napkin that was inside the KFC, the DNA of Darnell Hartsfield on a box that was under the register in the KFC.
First of all, we're going to start with the investigation. If you can see in this left-hand corner, this is what they found, nothing. They couldn't even lift a fingerprint. So how could I be convicted of a crime that I did not do? If they couldn't convict, they really didn't want to do the crime scene because they admitted that the crime scene had already been trampled through.
There was also the eyewitness who saw Darnell Hartsfield and who identified him within a week of the crime.
1 week? So how did Hartsfield and Pinkerton slip through the cracks? Especially when you see this.
The wanted for questioning poster that had both of their pictures on it from within a week of the crime.
I had, until that time, that was like 2002, I had never seen that flyer. And nobody had ever made it available to me or anything. And I picked up the flyer and I looked at it and I see Darnell Hartsfield and Romeo Pinkerton on there and as suspects in the KFC.
If you ask Pinkerton about the napkin.
How long you think blood gonna last on a napkin? 23 years. What color would you think the napkin would be? Okay, when they brought it to the trial, it was just like brand new. So now you tell me who lying, who telling the truth.
There's rumors that the DNA was staged. How are we going to go out here and find these people and stage a crime scene and we didn't even know who we were looking for?
Why do criminals that are convicted claim to be innocent?
Would you want to be thought to be guilty of something like this?
35 years later, the mystery behind the Kentucky Fried Chicken Massacre continues. The official version, it was Pinkerton and Hartsfield.
I believe they done it. That's my belief. I'm not going to change my mind on it. Technology's come a long way.
The two cousins say,
I'm doing free time for somebody else. You know what I mean? I'm saving a rich man's son from being in the death penalty.
There's a dark hole there of, well, where is the third person?
the person that raped and killed Opie Hughes.
It is unbelievably gratifying to have the 2/3 done that are done. It still and will always haunt me that we don't have the last one.
Whether or not that person's still alive is anybody's guess. But we go by the theory that they're still alive and eventually will be brought to justice.
I doubt seriously that any of the living family members are feeling relieved at this time in their lives because they've lost a loved one and they'll never get them back.
For Lana, her memories of David are hidden in the rearview mirror.
It's a separate life. He deserves to still be known. He was just such a good kid.
Those three young men could have, you know, hell, they could have become governor of the state of Texas. But, you know, their future was taken away from them.
I thank my Lord every day that I'm here for my children and my grandchildren. But I'd like to see Mary and Opie and David and Monty and Joey do the same.
No matter what story you suggest is true, what happened in 1983 happened.
That's about all I have to say.
That's about it, man.
With Pinkerton eligible for parole in just over a month, you have the opportunity to make a phone call to Austin to voice your opinion on the matter. The number there on your screen.
So Trent, let me just ask you one final question.
Yeah.
Any way these guys could ever get out of prison?
Well, I spoke with Lisa Tanner, the Assistant Texas Attorney General that you saw there in the interview. She told me she'd be lying if she thought in her lifetime she'd ever see Darnell Hartsfield or Romeo Pinkerton walk free. Now, the key that cracked this case was the DNA, and she says that the reason why these men are pinned to these crimes, you got a box with one of them's blood on it, you got a napkin with the other one's blood on it. She says at the end of the day, when it comes to the law, you cannot deny DNA.
You really can't. All right, Trent, thank you.